How much did that cost? Like the program,
Dude,
roughly.
it was like 18,000 for 4 months. Now it's like 80,000.
They got brand, they got demand.
Oh,
Best.
they did it right. Everyone in the world knew about
who
that
did.
company. And
So you got the fancy stamp of approval before it cost a shitload.
exactly.
All right. This is like the first longer form interview.
Number one.
We're here with Kobe. You're 22 years old. You own a mobile welding and fabrication business. You're on track to do roughly 600K in revenue this season.
Yep.
At 22 years old, that's pretty crazy.
Thank you.
In this, we're going to talk about how you got into welding, how you got into business, and then how you got all the way from 0 to 600K and hiring your first employee this year, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So tell me a little bit about your story. Like even before welding, like where did you grow up? What did your family do?
Yeah, so I grew up in Bemidji, Minnesota, small town way up north. My parents owned a resort up there. They still own it, kind of a family resort. So I grew up living on the resort. There was always chores to do, always things to be done, work to be finished up. We would always do our own like repairs. So I learned plumbing, I learned electrical, I learned welding, I learned landscaping. It was all just my dad teaching me different kinds of stuff.
Because he wasn't going to pay nobody to
No,
fix
not
that
a
for him.
chance.
Absolutely not.
He was going to do it himself. Both of my parents are business owners. So my mom actually started or bought the resort from my great grandpa. And then my dad owned an underground construction company. So business owning kind of ran in the family. And honestly, I never thought I was going to be a business owner. I kind of thought I would take over the resort someday. But growing up, like I said, we'd always fix stuff. And I loved fixing the docks and our boat lifts because they were metal. So we'd be welding. And so my dad taught me the little bit he knew about welding, which was
How
like
young were you?
8 to 10 probably. Like he put like the hood was giant on my head and he's just like, yeah, just weld it up there and you just watch kind of the arc. He knew a little bit. I mean, he could weld pretty good, but just enough to fix it and not have to pay someone.
What was like your first welder? I'm not a welder, but like, do you remember?
Like the machine?
Yeah, dude.
I have a little Miller 211, which is like a little.
That's what you learned
Yeah,
on?
yeah.
That's
my dad bought it brand new and we had it in our shop, so.
So you were doing this from like age 8, basically.
Yeah.
And then going throughout like high school, did you finish high school? Were
Yep.
you taking like shop classes? Like talk to me about like maybe the journey from 8 to like graduating high school.
Yeah, so in high school, I did like every shop class, like your machining class, construction. We had a welding class. I loved drafting, like CAD work. So I did welding all 4 years of high school, and just it got to the point that you have like little tests. Like it's like, weld this plate to this plate, and if it looks decent, you passed. And I could do that super quick that the teacher would just let me weld whatever. So I made like signs for the resort with like custom cut names in it. I just loved it. I kept trying to get more and more classes into it, but I could only do one per year.
In the high school?
Yeah, and I graduated, so I made it through. I was a pretty good kid.
And what were you like? I mean, now you do like custom railings, crazy stuff. Like,
yeah,
what got you all the way to there? Like, you started when you were so young, you were doing dock repairs, which probably everybody that welds can relate to, I feel like. What, like, when you were in class in high school, did you know that like welding was going to be your next step? Or like, talk to me about the thought process of like, did you attend a college? When did you decide that you were going to do that?
Yep. So sophomore year, I played football till my sophomore year. And at the end of my sophomore year, I was going to decide, do I go play another year? But I knew I wasn't going to start. I wasn't good enough to start. So I either keep playing as a bench player, or should I go find a job and try and make some money? And I was like, I love football, but I'm not going to sit on the bench. I'm just not going to do it. Especially northern Minnesota, when you play outside in like October and it's snowing,
10 degrees.
sucks. Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'm going to try working. And so my brother-in-law worked at a local fabrication shop. He's a project manager for him. And
what does that fabrication shop do?
So they did like production parts. So we would build like 10,000 like handlebars
like
for
the same thing for something.
Yep. We would build, all kinds of different stuff. They had a lot of laser cutters and whatnot. So I decided to get a job with them as a welder, and I had their kind of head welder teach me everything he knew.
So you've been like 16,
I would have been 15.
15.
Yep.
What prerequisites did you have to qualify you for that job?
I BS'd my way saying I welded like, which I did weld a lot, but I was like, yeah, I know all processes and I can pass their test. And so they did give me a little like fillet test and I passed it. And so, yeah, but I was not sure if I was going to pass it. I was like,
How
yeah,
scared were you going to work there when you said you knew everything?
I wasn't scared like for the business or the owner to like say I was bad. I was more nervous for the head welder to like really judge my welds, because welder to welder, everyone looks at everyone's welds and they'll always judge them. Like I look at everyone's and I'm like, ooh, you know, or you'll look at somebody like, that's a slick weld. So I knew he was going to judge them like real close, but he said they looked pretty good and he said they'd offer me a job. So got in with them.
So I was at 15.
Yep.
How long did you work there?
Till I graduated. And so working there, I knew I loved welding. And I was like, all right, where do I take this next? Like, do I go to a trade school for 2 years or do I try and stay here? The problem was with that fabrication shop, they were moving all to automation. So like automated lasers. And
Getting rid of the guys like you?
yeah. So the head welder actually became like a laser operator, where I did it for like a couple weeks and you just push a button, let it go, do its thing, push another button all day long. And I was like, all right, I don't see myself getting any farther with this company. So I was like, I got to go to a school. Where do I go? I was looking at like local, tech schools, but they're 2 years. And I'm like, I don't want to waste 2 years. So I found a place out in Wyoming, and anyone that's in welding knows Western Welding. They're a 4-month program. I'm like, that's pretty sweet. And it's all run by welders. Like, these guys aren't messing around. It's like a work schedule. You come in, weld for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you just practice, like just weld again, again. Just putting reps, shots on goal, and then the instructor would kind of come in, tweak a couple things, and go again. And we focus mainly on like pipelines. So we do a lot of pipe welding. You learn all your cutting, whatnot. But so I looked at that and I was like, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go into that. So right when I graduated, I took off and went out there for 4 months.
Did you have a summer before, or did you go
right yeah, sorry. I went through the summer, worked at the resort, and then worked at the fabrication shop, and then took off in September.
How much did that cost? Like the program, roughly?
So when I went, which would have been 2022, it was like 18,000 for 4 months. Now it's like 80,000.
Because they got brand, they got demand.
Oh, they did it right. That company it skyrocketed. Everyone in the world knew about that company. Yeah, and so
you got the fancy stamp of approval before it cost a shitload.
Exactly. And so like when I first got there was 80 kids total in the school, and there was 3 shifts. They ran around the clock because they just wanted to kind of keep people going. When I was done, because they added new people every week. When I was done, there was 80 kids per shift, which is insane. That's insane growth over 4 months.
Tripled in size in 3 or 4 months.
4 months, yeah.
When you had to spend 18 grand to kind of bet on yourself, right? Go learn a skill further. How did you pay for that or get the financing? Like, what did that look like?
I saved up I was a saver. I saved up all my money from the fabrication shop, and I worked at a diesel mechanic shop as like a laborer, making $15 an hour. That was my first job. But I just saved everything. I didn't buy anything, and saved. I had enough to pay for it.
How much did you have to your name when you paid 18 grand for that?
Like 22,000. So I just paid it all. I was like, this is it. And so did that. And I lived off of like that 4 grand for the 4 months.
Where did you live? Like, did you get an apartment?
So
they have housing?
Yeah, no, they didn't have housing at the time, but we had extended stay hotels, and they had a super discounted rate for them. Like, it was dirt cheap. They were kind of a little gross. I vacuumed when I got there, but it's super cheap.
Just roughing it?
Yep, extended stay hotels, lots of ramen noodles, pastaroni, and chicken nuggets were like the go-to.
So were you doing like, you said 8-hour shifts, you do like 8 hours a day?
Yep, and you could stay longer. So you could do a second shift, which I would.
Reps.
Yeah.
That's that's a crazy story. How did the 4 months go? Was it all positive? Was there any
Oh, it
negatives?
was
Like,
amazing.
you loved it.
I met so many people. I still talk to like 5 of the guys I went to school with. I still talk to the instructors. Um, the downfall is like now with that school, it's getting so popular that the quality's going down. It happens. You see it, but when I was there, it was amazing. It was so good. And so, yeah, they helped with placement and kind of getting guys jobs afterwards.
That was my next question is like when you decided to go there and you spent 18 of your only 22,000 you had saved, which is awesome. Were you planning to ever own your own welding business, or were you just like, hey, this is like the next step I have to take to get like a better job in welding and fab?
Yeah, that seemed to be the next spot, was to go there in the plan of I'm gonna get a way better job because I'm certified now. More companies will look at that, and you have the skill to prove it, you know. And so I had no intention of owning a business.
So still, when you spent 18 grand, you had no intention of owning a
Correct.
business. You're just like, we got to get this skill knocked out.
Yep.
It's gonna put me in a much better place.
Yeah, my goal was to go pipeline on the road. I wanted to go hit the road, like live out of a camper and pipeline for the rest of my life. And
What happened?
so I switched gears. I worked for a welding company in St. Cloud. And
Did they place you there? Is that a personal connection that you
personal
had when you came
connection.
back?
Yep. They didn't place it, but it ended up working out. So worked there as a traveling welder. And so we would work 2 weeks on, 4 days off. And we traveled all over the place. We went from Texas to New Mexico to Idaho to New York, and we would build food grade plants. So like
You were just on those? Like,
yeah,
that was
like
kind of like your crew?
yeah, that was our crew. We would just bounce around. And so yeah, didn't pipeline, did that, which was still traveling and fun. But then after like 4 months, 5 months of that, I missed home. I was like,
How old were you at this point?
uh, 19?
19.
Yeah, I would have been 18, 19.
And you got hired for this position right after you graduated from
Yep.
that place out in Wyoming,
Yep.
and you were traveling around for 5 months.
Yep.
What were you making, not roughly?
25 an hour, I think, 25, 27 an hour. So to me, I was like, it's all right. Not what I wanted to pay off the schooling.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely wanted more than that, but they, you know, of course, every company promises you'll get paid more in the future, which is typical. But yeah, I realized I missed home after like 6 months. And so working that schedule, 2 weeks on, 4 days off. On the 4 days off, I thought I'd be like tired and bored, or tired and like didn't want to do anything. But I ended up being bored, and I was like, I should like put an ad out on Facebook and just like see if I can keep myself busy with like dock repairs, because like
Because you still like those from when you were 8.
exactly. And I was like, there's stuff to do. I was like, I can make a little side cash. So I just posted on my Facebook, like, if anyone needs a welder, I can do it. And I set up out of the back of my half-ton truck with like not a welder generator, like a literal generator. And I plugged that Miller 211 into it, still running today, and plugged it into it and would run out of my truck on the road. And so I did that for a summer, and it got to the point that I got so busy on my 4 days off. I did the math, and I was like, if I went at this full time, I could make more than I'm making.
Just like a math equation of
Yeah.
all the days. Like, hey, if
Yeah.
I'm making 2 grand in profit in 4 days, let's just multiply that by the 14 days that I'm working for
Exactly.
the other company. I should be able to cover the 25 an hour.
Yeah. So there was a couple late nights of like talking with my dad and just like, is it worth it to give up? Because it's a good company, you know,
Yeah.
they were great. But it's like, is it worth it to give it up to try my own thing? And my dad, being an entrepreneur and business owner, he's like, dude, you need to quit now and like do this. He's like, the math works out. So
Great family.
yeah, so I called in and I said, I'm done. I'm not coming back. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, there's a fail-safe that welders are needed everywhere. I can always go back to work, you know.
You'll be needed somewhere.
Exactly. Like everyone's hiring for welders. So I was like, all right, I'm going to take the chance and try this out. So yeah, in February of 2024 is when I started my business officially.
That's crazy. And you, I'm assuming, had damn near no business experience.
Zero.
I mean,
Well, a
the family,
little
but
from the
like,
family. Like I knew how to talk to people.
yeah,
I feel like that's a pretty
a
good skill
lot
to
of it.
have. Working at the resort, you'd have new guests come in, and you just have to be nice. You have to like, like learn how to people please and whatnot. So I had that skill. I had a little bit of like, I knew my number, like how to, not how to price profitably, but how to price so I wasn't gonna run out of money.
How scared were you to take the risk to go out on your own?
I was scared like 10 minutes before I actually did it. And then once I did it, I was like, okay, here it is. We just have to roll. But it's the jump, it's the anticipation. Like that night, it's just like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, what if I run out of money? What if I do this? What if I do that? You know, what if I get hurt and then I can't work? And it's the anticipation. But once I said I'm doing it, then it was like, we just have to go.
How much money did you have saved when you decided to say, screw it, I'm quitting the job and go for it?
Not much. I I don't know. I probably had like 20,000 maybe in the bank account.
So a decent amount compared to where
Yeah,
some people
yeah,
start.
but
Not a
you know,
lot,
like
not enough.
so the other part is like I bought a welder right away. I bought
How
more
much that? How
tools.
much all that cost?
7,000 for a used welder.
Okay.
Bought all the tools. So I was probably in it like 10 grand. And so
So 10 of your 20 went into it.
yeah, oh yeah. Yeah,
So then
right
you're
away.
left with like 10.
Yeah, so that's where it started to like we need to get
That gets
going.
close.
Yeah, yep.
What
But
were some of the first jobs that you were taking on the side?
so there's a lot of like little dock repairs where you, like at the time I'd charge like $150 and I'd drive like an hour away. Like
What do you charge now?
we charge like 250 an hour, and that starts like when we leave.
Yeah.
So, but usually we try and price jobs. We don't usually go by the
No
hour,
hourly.
but
No hourly scope
no,
of
yeah,
work.
yeah.
Okay, but back to like what were some of those jobs that you remember doing?
So one of the first ones was my grandpa. I built a monostringer staircase for him,
Just like this?
just like this. Yeah. He wanted one in his shop, and I'm like, all right, sweet.
I'll try it.
So I tried it out, and that was great experience. The second big project I did, I lost so much money on.
What was it? How
I
much
built
money?
I built a railing, a cable railing. It's all vertical cable, and they wanted it galvanized, which is an odd thing to ask for. We always did powder coat. They wanted it galvanized. I priced the whole job at like $7,000, which I thought was like, dude, there's no way there's no way.
There's no way they're gonna sign.
Yeah.
Make so much money.
I'm gonna make so much money. And they're like, yeah, we'll go with it. I'm like, sweet. I can't believe I'm gonna make this much money. Yeah, I thought it was gonna take me like 20 hours to build, and it took like 80. So yeah, I wasn't making much money. And I didn't price in galvanizing at all, which was like almost 2 grand. Not including my time to drive 3 hours south to go do it. So yeah, I didn't make
Sizable
it.
mistake.
Yeah, it turned out great. It turned out beautiful. I just didn't make any money.
Okay, so now that's like what? That's 2024.
Yep,
Started on your own.
yep.
What did you do roughly in the first year?
So in the first year, I did roughly around 90,000 in revenue.
And I'm assuming a lot of those are probably smaller projects.
Yeah, a lot of like, you do like 8 repairs a day, so you'd end up with $1,000 at the end of the day, which was decent for me at the time.
Yeah, you're getting
know?
after it.
Yeah, so, but I'd also put 100 miles on the truck in one day, so.
A lot of drive time, a lot of fuel,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of wear and tear. Okay, where are you at now?
So right now, 2 weeks ago, I hired my first employee. That was a little nerve-wracking just because it's something so new to me, but I knew it was going to work out well because I had so much in place. I pre-made like SOPs for all different jobs. We had employee handbooks. I just wanted to make sure and do everything correct so that there's no questioning like, well, he said, she said. Like, we're not playing that game. We're gonna make it professional, make it look good, even though he's my first guy. When he was signing all the documents, he's like, dude, I'm your first employee. I'm like,
How many times you done this before?
yeah, I'm like,
First
dude, it
time.
doesn't matter. Like, I want it in place now for the next 5 guys so that it's all the same. But yeah, hired the first employee, and at the end of this year, I would guess high 500s, maybe. We might hit 600, so yeah.
Okay, so we skipped, right? Like I just wanted to kind of get a quick overview. going from your first year 90 to 600 employee basically now, only 2 years later, what are some of like the screw ups and struggles along that path, right? Because obviously there's been a lot of stuff that's happened in between
Oh
first day and today.
yeah. So the biggest one was from 2024 at that 90,000 to my second year, which was like 230. And the biggest change there was just my pricing difference. Learning how to price profitably, and I never accounted for any overhead. Like I never knew what if someone was like, "What's your overhead?" I'd be like, well, I don't own like any big building.
Yeah.
Like I'm just using this shop here, you know, and just had no clue what overhead was. Once I dialed in like what my daily overhead is, so when I have a project that takes me 7 days, that's 7 days of overhead to add in. That was the biggest part. And then just raising my prices to like, I always price too low. And we have one other welder fabricator in Bemidji. And he's like, dude, you got to raise your prices. And I'm like, I can't, like, nobody knows me. What if I don't get that next job? After the first year, I'm like, I got to raise my prices. Otherwise I'm going broke.
You're just working basically to have nothing left over?
Yeah, working. Yeah. Like, what's the point of working so hard if you got nothing to show for it at the end? Like, that's even worse.
What is overhead to you, roughly? I mean, not in total a month, but like what does it include for you for some of the other welders?
So like shop. So we have like
Truck,
shop,
insurance.
trucks, insurance, welder wear and tear. Like that's a pretty big one you don't think of. The amount of oil change and brushes go out on stuff. But yeah, those are kind of the big one. Different softwares. So we have like our bidding, or not our bidding software, but our CRM.
CRM, website.
Website. Yep.
Us.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, you got to bid that into.
That goes into your overhead.
Exactly.
So just to try to help them, right? Like the guys that are maybe watching it that were like you that have no clue. It's like you have to account for those things.
Yeah,
right?
Dude, absolutely. And it takes like 5 minutes
to fix.
Like figure out what your yearly overhead is, break it down into months, break it down into days. It's really quick to fix.
And you said you were scared to raise your prices.
Yeah.
What has helped be able to raise your price? Like what has helped with being able to raise your prices?
I think I'm more confident in the product I can give people. And then I'm more confident that that I'm in demand, I guess is what I should say. People want, especially with like railings and stuff, they want a high quality product. And when people first see me at that time, 20 years old, and no website, no Google reviews. I did have a Google listing, so that's a plus. Yep. But like, if someone were to look me up, they'd be like, "Who is this kid?"
Like another guy with a truck.
Yeah, and so I felt like I couldn't charge that much. I was like, nobody knows who I am, so and I can't charge that much. So when I needed to raise prices, I was like, I raised them after I started doing kind of more like reviews. I got more reviews from people and I felt more confident in like what we could do. And we could tell other clients that.
Was that like when you started with us?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I didn't do it. When we jumped on a call, you're like, yeah, let me look you up quick. And you're like, dude, you have 0 Google reviews. I'm like, yeah, I didn't know we had to get those.
How do you think Kathy's going to pay you 10 grand for a set of steps?
Yeah. If she doesn't know we're good at what we do.
Or even know you exist.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's a huge thing is like, instead of just telling people I'm good at what I do, I can show them we're good at what we do. So we can show them the Google reviews, we can show them the testimonials, we can show them past projects.
All
and
the stuff.
Yeah, and people just feel so much more confident. That makes me more confident, and then I feel better raising my prices.
Just a full cycle.
Yeah, plus the first year, that 90K, I went through everything, and it's like, oh, we made no money. Like we made no money. So I either keep doing this and making no money, or I need to raise my price. And so it was a pretty clear decision of like, we have to raise
something.
Yeah, if something has to change.
What was like the average size job 2 years ago versus the average size job for you now?
2 years ago was probably like $300 to $500 for a repair. We still do small repairs.
Yeah.
But like our average job for like a railing is 12,000 roughly.
So we've 10x more than that, the average ticket.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
What would you say is like your advice to somebody that's getting started maybe, or wants to even maybe hasn't gotten started in the in the trade you're in? Like, what would you say to do?
Oh, I would say I would say jump right into it. Don't hesitate. I feel like people hesitate way too much.
They overthink
They think,
everything.
and that's what I did joining with you guys. Is like I would hesitate so much.
Well, it's not even about that, but yeah.
Right, but
same
but
thing, yeah.
same thing. It's like when a big decision comes up of should I start this, the hesitation is what kills people. That's what will kill your business. If you act fast, you're way more likely to get going faster, which is faster to make the mistake, which is faster to correct the mistake and then grow from that.
That's really good advice. Like people who sit behind a computer for a year trying to figure out what to do. It's like maybe just go grab a welder off a marketplace and try to start doing something. Right?
Fortune favors the bold.
Okay. Maybe lastly, like, have you had any, like, other than that galvanized railing, have you had any like big mistakes like on a job site along the way?
Let's see. Trying to think.
Or you're locked at all times?
We're usually pretty good. I dropped a mag drill, which is that piece over there, on a decorative piece of railing after we installed it, and it scratched all the powder coat off of it. So that
costs a little bit.
Yeah, it just because you finish it and like everything's perfect, and then I dropped it on it and it scratched it, so we had to tear it all back up and then fix it and bring it all back.
So not too bad.
Not terrible.
All right, let's get to the end of where I want to be with this, which is like, where do you think you're going in business, right? You're so young. You went from not even thinking you'd own a business at like 18, 19 to on track to do almost 600K probably this year pretty profitably.
Mm-hmm.
What is the plan for the future?
So my 5-year goal, I would like to move into a bigger building, bigger shop so we can have more employees. And then I would like to be at, I would say 3 welders and 3 laborers or helpers. That would kind of be my goal status. I'd like to see 1.5 in the next 4 years or so, I think.
It's very possible.
At the track we're going, if we even get close to that, it's definitely possible. The main thing is I just like to be very profitable. I'd like to stay very profitable. We're sitting at about 45% profit margins right now, and I'd like to stay there or get higher. So
it's less stressful running a business when you're actually profitable and you're not just buying a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, when a mistake happens and we're like, no biggie, we'll just pay for it. When a welder goes out, it's like we'll just buy another one.
And what does that setup look like for you at 4 years down the line with those 6 guys? Like what are you guys going to be mainly doing?
We do a lot of residential and commercial work. So my plan is to have like 2 trucks running around. I don't want more than that. There's no need for that many. You can do a lot. You can make a lot of money with just 2 trucks. I'd like to have 2 trucks running around with 2 crews in it, doing commercial work, and then have that 3rd crew in the shop building beautiful railings and staircases like this. The custom work for residential homes we love that work.
It's awesome.
That's a good work. Yep.
High margin, clients love you, everybody wins.
And you get your Google reviews and testimonials at the end. You give them a little gift bag at the end, and they love it. They talk about you on Facebook all the time, and it's the best.
What about the issue? I remember you came to me with an issue earlier this year about being backed up because of suppliers, like with like the steel, the powder coating.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that a little bit and how we solved that?
Yeah. So I had a project that I bid, and I gave her a time frame. And one of the other lessons you guys have definitely helped teach me is to under promise and over deliver. I used to always tell people I will be here on Monday and I will work till Thursday and I will have it done. And then when one little thing screws up, like my steel doesn't get delivered in time, we're screwed. Yeah. I'm making phone calls saying, I'm so sorry, Kathy, I can't make it out there. So I had a project where I told her the exact dates I will be there, exactly how long it'll take. I didn't give her any leeway. And she was pretty strict, but I was trying to be like, I got this. And my steel didn't show up like for 2 days after. So now I'm 2 days short. She's already mad about that. I got it done. I just worked all night till I got it done. And then I went to take it up to powder coating. And he's like, dude, I won't have it done for like 3 weeks. I'm like, I can't, like, please, I can't. I need this done. She wants it done. She's got a part, like she had some party or something. And he's like, nah, man, like 3 weeks. And so I called you and I'm like, what do I do? Like, I can't wait 3 weeks and she's not going to be happy, you know. And you're like, dude, you need to find more, like find like 6 powder coaters and find 5 steel suppliers. So when someone goes, yeah, we're gonna be like 3 days late, that's fine. I'll send it to the next person. Yep.
Yeah, it's like changing your mindset on the way a business is supposed to run.
Yeah.
The people that win are the people that don't complain and they just make things happen, that prepare for those things, right? And like a lot of times you have to learn it first to know it, but like when you learn it, it's painful. She's pissed.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh, like even though this supplier's been great, I've always been able to count on them. One day they might not be great.
You just have to have a backup.
So maybe I go find 3 other backups and then it's not a problem anymore.
Yeah.
And we stay on track.
Yeah.
That's like good lesson for all of businesses. Like a lot of the things that people complain about are the reason that they don't think they can get to the next level. It's like the people that do get to the next level, they just operate a little differently.
Yeah.
Like the guy that's competing against you, like I'll have 3 people that could powder coat that thing for me instead of you having 1.
Yeah.
And then you tell Kathy you can't get it done and I can charge Kathy
You already
double.
have it done.
I can charge
Yeah.
Kathy double because she wants it done before her party.
Yep.
And we have a guy.
Yeah. Dude, I feel like that's huge. People complain a little bit too much. I don't like it.
So much.
And I feel like the people that will win are the ones when something goes wrong, it's not your fault, but it is your problem.
Yeah.
So find a solution.
Handle it.
Deal with it. Figure out something else. And I feel like I've gotten a lot better at that.
Anything else at all to the welders of the world?
I don't know.
Solid.
I'm solid.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.